Christian Pulisic breaking new ground again by becoming the first American to play in a FIFA Club World Cup final, by lifting the FIFA Club World Cup, just adding to the trophy case in what we now have seen, a guy who has had a 7-year professional career. He's already had a lifetime when you talk about what he's done with Dortmund, Chelsea, the U.S. men's national team. I mean, you could write a really interesting book on Pulisic. And you'd like to think he's just getting started. A lot of ups, a lot of downs, and then a lot of ups again. In a game where he did not start, Mason Mount injured in the 30th minute. It turned out to be really a godsend for Thomas Tuchel, who looked to his bench, told Christian Pulisic to go in ahead of Timo Werner and Hakim Ziyech. And he came in and changed the game. He played his natural position. He played behind Havertz and Lukaku and did some creation. Took some free kicks for the first time this season. It's an incredible journey, and I don't want to downplay the FIFA Club World Cup. I know a lot of people do that. It is a new tournament, and it is almost every year won by a European club, which if that keeps happening, the European clubs will be like, they won't care. Especially if they win it enough times. Because Palmeiras was a team that was positioned to be a team to knock off a European side. And they had Chelsea on the ropes, and they didn't have them on the ropes, but they certainly had them in a position to where they could have won that game. And it slipped away. Will there be a better South American candidate? Will there be a better Mexican candidate? Will there be a better African candidate next year, whoever the European team is? But another great achievement by Christian Pulisic, and we're going to break it down, and we're going to ask who could be the next American player to do what he did, win a Champions League, and take all of the fruit afterwards and go on that trajectory. We'll talk about it right here on the Soccer OG. The Soccer OG podcast. I was on with Sam Stokes of Yank Report. He joins me here, and we have a real conversation about Christian Pulisic and talk about how he is much tougher than we all think. We see a guy who's very mild-mannered. We see a guy who's very fragile with injuries, yet we put a lot on his shoulders and he answers it, right? This game is a good example. So check out my conversation. It is out there now on the Soccer OG podcast, where all podcasts are available. And yes, like and subscribe our YouTube video here, and we're going to get into it. And the Champions League's a big event, obviously, and that starts Tuesday. There will be 2 games Tuesday, 2 first legs Tuesday, 2 first legs Wednesday. The following Tuesday, Wednesday, the other 2 and 2 first legs. We will kick it off here with PSG Real Madrid, woo-hoo-hoo, Sporting Manchester City, Salzburg Bayern Munich, and Inter versus Liverpool. And we're going to look, because we have 5 Americans that are going to be playing in the Champions League, and who could go on a run here? Who could do what Christian Pulisic did, playing in the Champions League final, winning the Champions League final? Or how far could it happen? Because this is going to be the case every year because we have so many good players in big clubs. Think about it. This could have been a much bigger number. The Europa League, Americans could do very well in the Europa League. Gio Reyna, who was ill this week, didn't play. Dortmund, to me, is one of the 2 or 3 favorites in the Europa League. Barcelona's in the Europa League. Serginho Dest played a full 90 minutes this weekend. Maybe they could go on a run. The Dortmund plays Rangers, should get a win there. Barcelona versus Napoli, mouth-watering game, quite frankly. And then you also have Tyler Adams and Leipzig who could go on a run. So 3 Americans there. I think all those teams could have made the Champions League. So we could be talking about 8 Americans in the Champions League round of 16. But who could make it first? Really a quick word about Christian Pulisic and the game he played. Because it was truly remarkable when he came in. The set pieces, I couldn't believe what I was watching. Ziyech came in and then he took him. But Pulisic hit it well. And this obviously plays into what the U.S. men's national team is going to do. Because you need someone who's effective at set pieces. And hopefully it's Christian. Because he would be a guy that I think you would start all the time. And we don't... making a starting 11 is becoming more and more difficult. I'm on there on Twitter and Facebook. And I see everyone, or Meta. And I see everyone trying to figure out what the best 11 would look. It's not easy. Especially on that attacking end, especially in who plays in there. And Christian Pulisic, people are saying bring him as a sub. He'd be a great sub, but he's a great starter. And he is our best player. And it was reinforced there in Abu Dhabi. So 4 games without playing. He had an interview with ESPN and said he was frustrated, felt like he was doing too much, and that says a lot that he would address that. He's got to find that happy space. He's got to trust some people, which is obviously an issue. Keep in mind the horrible burden we put him on as a teenager coming into 2017, and we're telling him, save us, get us to the World Cup. Wasn't able to do that, but he's picked himself up, dusted himself off, and is now in charge of the biggest stretch for U.S. soccer, trying to get them into this World Cup. You have to make this World Cup or it's lost. If we sit on another World Cup, I don't know. Our audience will be like this. We need to make this World Cup because we're hosting it in 2026. Got to set the table right. But Christian Pulisic didn't have that run of game. He got to play the natural 10 position. He was the most fouled player in the game. 90% passing. He was a change of pace without a doubt, and obviously Thomas Tuchel trusting him a little bit more, which tells you maybe he comes back to Chelsea when they get into the Premier League, and they're going to want to protect a top 4 spot. That's not guaranteed. They're not catching Manchester City. And then Champions League defense. And I think they have, I said they don't have a shot a few weeks ago. I don't think they're going to win it, but they're going to be a tough out. It's just a tough team to play, and Christian Pulisic is one of those guys who could feature. Well, let's talk about Chelsea. If I had to set a betting line, and I would love to go to the Caesars Sportsbook or what have you, and see what the line would be for an American to, let's just say, make a Champions League final. Chelsea play Lille. Chelsea should get through there. And then we have to see what happens, the quarterfinals. Premier League teams have done very well in recent Champions League. The last 3 editions, it's been an all-England final in 2 of them. All 4 English teams are there. You have to, as a smart bettor, think an English team would get through. An English team with experience. An English team that is coming off a great performance there in defending their title. That would put the candidates from an English club, which is Christian Pulisic and Zach Steffen, at the top of the list. And we include Zach Steffen. He might play in this run-up. I don't know. But if he makes a final, that's big news for our soccer community. And he gets to be a part of that journey. That goes in the memory banks, and that is something that will build him forward. We need to get him more games. Obviously, he had some injury concerns in this last World Cup cycle. Yeah, but I don't think it's far-fetched that he might get a game. Maybe Manchester City has dominated a first leg against Sporting and pop him in there. Who knows? Who knows with Ederson? And he seems like they don't want to. Manchester City don't want to lose him. They want a world-class number 2, right? And Zach Steffen is that. But we want to see him get some games. So Zach Steffen is obviously at the top of the list. Let's put him there. I don't want to minimize it. Zach Steffen has the best chance of the 5 players to get to a Champions League final and win it. Man City are the favorites. Or am I picking them? I can't. I've done it the last 2 years. I've been burnt. I don't know who I'm going to pick. But Manchester City are the favorites. So Steffen would be on the top line. I think of the other teams, Chelsea are the next favorite. Christian Pulisic is there. He faced Tim Weah of Lille. And Weah will Lille will be interested, and Chelsea aren't going to run away with that. But hard to see Lille, a team with its limitations, and we love Jonathan David, but it's a limited team in the big picture of here. We haven't seen Cinderella runs. Really, we had the pandemic Champions League where they had all the games in Lisbon 2 years ago. That one served the underdogs very well. We had Leipzig in the semifinals. We had Atalanta this close to making a semifinal. Maybe we have an edition like that, but I think the craziness of that all under one roof and games like this, it favored some of the underdogs. It would feel like it's a more standard run here with these English teams with just very, very deep and talented rosters. It's going to be hard to do, but we'll see. We'll get one American in the quarterfinal. That's good news. Whether it be Weah or Pulisic. Weah going into a tournament like this, the way he's developing as a player, it would be just so good for it to happen. Say he can make a semifinal, and he is playing pretty regularly for Lille. And if he can share that experience and put it into the memory banks, much like Christian Pulisic did and Zach Steffen has done, then it would be enormous. But he's probably at the bottom of the list, right? Maybe Brendan Aronson's at the bottom of that list. Brendan Aronson going full 90 minutes for Red Bull Salzburg. Leeds are like just like Pepe Le Pew. Remember him? He was really pervy, where he kept harassing the cats and saying how romantic. Leeds is Pepe Le Pew with Brendan Aronson. They keep making these approaches. They really want him. They're very attracted to Brendan Aronson. Quite frankly, he is a perfect fit for that club. He went a full 90 minutes. They have a 14-point lead in Austria. It's a great story. They're going to be facing Bayern Munich, coming off a bizarre defeat to Bochum, 4-2. Bayern Munich's going to be angry. First leg is in Salzburg. It's going to be a fun watch at the very least. But Bayern Munich is probably the second favorite. So Brendan Aronson, it may be 2 games and done. And again, just getting there is a remarkable achievement. His platform is set for a move. I love the Leeds idea. I look at Leeds, I see a club where he will play, a club that desires him, a club that plays a style similar to what the U.S. do. It's a high-intensity pressing style, possession, and he's going to shine. And it's a club with a good reputation. It's a well-supported club. Leeds United with Marcelo Bielsa. He's a genius. We've been told so many times. I'm a big Bielsa guy. And I got to interview him many years ago, and he was very, very gracious. I was supposed to be 5 minutes, but he carved out 20 minutes. And I just listened. I think I asked 2 questions, and he talked. So Brendan Aronson, his path is good. And we talk about picking a starting 11 that makes sense. Brendan Aronson's probably not in there. The options ahead of him are Pulisic and Weah and Reina and then Aronson. Good players there. I'm very excited. I think that's the fixture that excites me more here. PSG Real, obviously, number 1. When you're trying to pick teams to win it, you can't pick PSG or Real because they play each other at the beginning. That's a final. That's almost a final. So unfortunately, I'd like to pick both of them, although Real Madrid not playing well. Karim Benzema's coming back. That's good. Can't touch it. Can't touch it. I'd hate for PSG to get knocked out the round of 16 because that would discourage anything like that to happen again. I've actually been enjoying them. They've been playing well to see that team click together. And who doesn't want to see Lionel Messi get back to the top in a new club? It'd be very cool. But that's going to be interesting. So we talked. Christian Pulisic, I think, is the pick for guys who play. All due respect to Zach Steffen, who's still thrilling to get in there. Tim Weah's in there. Brendan Aronson. Who have I forgotten? None other than Weston McKennie, who was just glorious again this weekend for Juventus. They tied Atalanta. Dusan Vlahovic, Juventus just threw a ton of money to Fiorentina to bring him in. And I don't know. If that guy can play like what they think he's worth, then Juventus could make a run. Juventus they will be playing Villarreal. I don't want to underestimate Villarreal. That seems like a club you don't want to look over, and that's dangerous for Juventus. Weston McKennie, just like Brendan Aronson, just like Tim Weah, could really benefit from a lengthy Champions League journey. Let's say at least the quarterfinals, which is lengthy because you end up playing into late March. He is such a wonderful support player, and you would see him set up Vlahovic or set up Dybala. He plays a little more advanced than we are accustomed to seeing. He's not a number 6er. He's up there. He gets in the front line a lot. He could score some goals in the Champions League. He is going to start because after all the talk about him going here or there, he remained a Juventus player. For him to make it, Vlahovic needs to score some goals. I think he's a good player. I think he's a good player. He's not worth what they paid. He was a little sloppy against Atalanta after he had a good opener for Juventus. So he's had an incredible journey to get there, but is it Italian clubs have been non-existent. Juventus have had some decent runs in the last 5 years, but that's it. Only Inter and Juventus remain after Milan and Atalanta hit the final hurdles in group play. Inter play Liverpool. Can't see Inter getting by a Liverpool team that's also on the top line of favorites. And now they have Luis Diaz to go along with all these incredible players. That Diogo Jota, who is on a tear, scoring in all tournaments. Liverpool, City, Bayern, Liverpool. I think that's your podium for favorites. So Inter probably doesn't have a shot, but do an Italian team. I'd love to see Italian teams kind of get back in there. We need them because, like I said, you don't want this to be uninteresting English teams because then why not just watch the Premier League if it's going to be English finals all the time, right? All the time, the English communities prioritize the Premier League over the Champions League. It might be better than the Champions League if the English teams... Imagine it's all 4 semi-finalists. We need other leagues to come up there to make the Champions League more competitive and more fun and more, viable, quite, to be honest. So, with regards to Weston McKennie, he may be the dark horse to make a deep run, but more than capable. Just needs those folks to step up. Kulusevski, whoever it is, come in and score some goals. It's a fun time. The Super Bowl is behind us, and now we get ready for the Champions League. You can sing the song. I know it gets everyone fired up. This is the Soccer OG. Check out the Soccer OG podcast. Check out the old videos or videos from the past for your viewing and listening pleasure. We'll see you very soon.